I'm on a mission to review and rank every single episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and I'm not stopping until it is done. I'm of course talking about the critically acclaimed 3D computer animated Star Wars anthology series that first aired in 2008 and ended in 2020. Not to be confused with Star Wars Clone Wars, the 2D animated micro series that was released in 2003. I'm watching and reviewing every single episode in the official release order to keep things simple and ranking each episode as I go along. When all is said and done, I'll have a complete and comprehensive ranking of every episode from the entire series. So to make sure you don't miss a single episode, like this video and subscribe to the channel to ensure you stay on this journey with me. There will be spoilers for today's featured episode, so viewers beware. Now, on to today's episode. Today we are looking at episode 6 from season 1 titled Downfall of a Droid. Anakin Skywalker is pulled from his wrecked starfighter after a skirmish with General Grievous and wakes up to discover that R2-D2 is now missing. The Republic tells Anakin to let the droid go, but after he reveals that R2 holds Republic secrets in his memory, finding the droid becomes a top priority. Anakin and Ahsoka board a scavenger ship piloted by Ganacht looking for R2, but leave after finding no trace of the droid. It is then revealed that Nacht does in fact have the droid and is planning to sell him to the Separatist. Anakin also receives a replacement astromech droid who fails every task that he is given throughout the episode. We end this episode with Anakin narrowly escaping another encounter with General Grievous, with R2's location still unknown. There's a weird feeling to this episode that I can't quite explain, but before I get to that, let me tell you what I do like about this episode. Anakin is brilliant here. His connection to R2 is the standout plot thread, and while it's not the deepest development his character receives in the series, Anakin's fondness for his droid draws a direct line back to the kid we first met in The Phantom Menace. Anakin's appreciation of droids is an underappreciated aspect of his character, so it's nice to see it on display here. Anakin's fondness for R2 in particular is scrutinized by Obi-Wan, who reminds him that attachment is forbidden within the Jedi Order. It serves as a nice little foreshadowing moment towards the aspect of Anakin that would eventually lead to his downfall. Otherwise, there is a lot of great space combat in this episode. Anakin's piloting skills are shown off, and his flanking strategy that involves ATTEs on asteroids destroying Separatist ships from behind is something we've never really seen before. This episode really highlights Anakin's interest and his skills as a character by showing off his fondness for droids and flying. It's a nice exploration of his character that for once leaves the darker aspects of his personality absent. I especially love how Anakin squeezes his fist when Obi-Wan talks about R2 units being a dime a dozen. There's some great stuff here, but it's all dragged down by a strange underlying feeling that plagues the entire thing. First of all, the animation here is awful. This feels like a first pass at rendering instead of a fully realized episode. It all just looks muddy and I can't explain the drop in quality here. The music also just feels wrong, like they used temp tracks in the final product. The themes here don't sound in line with the rest of the series and it's jarring. Between the audio and the animation, I have a sneaking suspicion that this episode may have been a proof of concept. While that may not be true, it sure feels like it. Also, I have a small gripe with Jedi starfighters that spawned out of this episode. Anakin's ship is basically hijacked by his replacement astromech unit later in the episode. It messes with his hyperspace ring, it sets off tracking beacons, and it turns off Anakin's engines. My question is, why does the ship allow the droid to have so much control? Anakin is fighting it during the whole sequence, and it makes me believe that he couldn't wrestle control of the ship off of the droid. Look, Jedi starfighters needing an extra attachment to achieve hyperspace is one thing, but letting droids override the pilot? Why would Anakin ever want to fly one of these things? But among the muddiness of this episode, there is a small silver lining. Ron Perlman lends his voice to the scrapper character Ganacht. I just thought that was a cool cameo I didn't know about. Downfall of a Droid could be called the downfall of Clone Wars. This is not a good episode. Great Anakin moments and space combat are not enough to distract from the muddy animation and misguided music choices, and it leaves the viewer with a strange feeling throughout the entire episode. Bad Clone Wars is still decent television, but this episode is a dark patch in an otherwise brilliant series. And that was Downfall of a Droid, ranking it against every other episode of Clone Wars I've reviewed so far. It currently sits at number 6. Will it hold this place? Fuck no. And here is the complete ranking so far. That's me finished for this episode. Now, I want to hear from all of you. What's your personal review of this episode? Where would you rank it among every other episode of Clone Wars? Let me know in the comments below after you've liked the video and subscribed. I'll see you guys next time with another Clone Wars episode review and ranking. Until then, thank you for watching. As always, look after yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video.